Hello again everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Knights of the Dining Room Table. I'm Rory from Lewis King Estate Agent, still here with Dean Bedson from Just Mortgages, and we're here to talk about Dean's top tips for selling and buying now. So we'll start with selling, Dean. Top tips for anyone looking to sell their current home.
Yeah, thanks Rory, and hello everyone again. When it comes to selling a property, I think obviously we would say go and see somebody like yourself, Rory, over at Lewis King. Because what we need to understand from a mortgage point of view is how much their existing property is worth. And the reason why we need to understand that, or a realistic idea of what they would sell it for, is because naturally we need to understand the amount of cash or equity that they'll have in the property that they'll put down as a deposit, which then will impact the amount of mortgage lending they will need to purchase that next property. So even more important that they speak to somebody like yourself, because that obviously influences the advice and the recommendation that we provide to them.
Fantastic, okay. And then in terms of buying, if someone's, whether it's a first-time buyer or someone who's selling their current home to then buy the next one, what's your best advice to them?
Yeah, so and naturally I think we're all guilty of this. So the first thing that any client does is start looking on, your Rightmoves, your Zooplas, your Lewis King, to see what properties are out there before they actually understand how much lending they can get or how much of a mortgage they can acquire from a particular lender. So by speaking to a mortgage broker or mortgage advisor first, what they'll provide for a client is what's called an agreement in principle or a decision in principle. And what that does is it gives you an amount of lending that a mortgage provider is prepared to offer you, which then helps you understand the properties and the areas that you can start looking in. So when you are then on your various search engines looking at properties, you understand if that is a more realistic property that you can purchase. And there's various things to think about when you're buying a property, as I'm sure you know, Rory. Things like location is sometimes dictated by work or transport or schools and things like that. If you've got that agreement in principle in place, it makes those properties that you're looking at a bit more of a realistic option to explore.
Of course, yeah. And speaking from the estate agent point of view, if someone comes to us and they say, I've got an agreement in principle or a decision in principle from Dean at Just Mortgages, we know for sure that, okay, everything's been checked out to the nth degree. Absolutely, when do you want to go and view that property? So it helps the applicant's point of view to make everything smoother further down the line when it comes to making offers as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. So final bit, in terms of if a client is looking to remortgage then, how best to go about that?
Yeah, so I'm not sure whether a lot of people know this, but when you're coming to the end of your fixed rate, when you've got about 6 months left, you can actually start looking to remortgage to other lenders. One of the things that a mortgage broker will always do is they'll always assess what is the best financial solution for you, either staying with your existing lender, doing what we call a product transfer or a rate swap, or looking across the market to understand, well, is a particular lender offering a cheaper rate or a better deal, as we talked about previously. So 6 months before your fixed rate is due to end, that's when you can start looking at it. Now, obviously in that 6 month period, there'll still be what's called an early repayment charge to come out of the deal early, but you can actually almost post-date the start of your new mortgage, so that effectively one day one mortgage finishes, the next day your new one starts, so there's no charges involved in doing that, but it allows you to look a lot sooner and get give the mortgage broker or advisor a bit more time to assess the market and find that right solution for you.
Fantastic. And in terms of if someone started looking at that at month 6 before their mortgage is due to end, and then they found out that rates drop in 3 months' time, is there an option for people to redo that essentially?
Yeah, that's what a mortgage broker should do. So if rates were to drop and they wanted to look at that, there is an option to do that. What we've always got to be careful of is if anything has changed from a credit scoring perspective, that can sometimes impact it. But again, I think I've said this before, sitting down or speaking to a specialist who can provide that advice to a client at the time is the right thing. It's my top tip.
Fantastic, thanks Dean. That's brilliant. Our next video will be with Dean's thoughts on the cost of moving. So we're going to be talking about solicitors, stamp duty, all that sort of stuff. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks guys.
Thanks guys.